plastic bags. A hat was sailing along in the gutter. The heat from the radiator caressed my knees, and I remembered my desperate and ruinous visits to offices of apartment buildings and landlords that one winter 6 years ago. By and large, these visits had followed a uniform pattern. It involved confronting a guy behind a desk who sat there, hands neatly folded with a saccharine smile and ominously narrowed eyes, asking me in a manner that indicated he had better things to do, "Well then, Mr. Kayankaya, I see you are a private investigator. That's an interesting name, Kayankaya." "Not really that interesting. Just Turkish." "I see." The saccharine content of his smile increases. His eye slits are no wider than razor's edges. "Turkish. A Turkish private investigator. What do you know? I hope you don't mind my asking, but how come you speak such good German?" "It's the only language I know. My parents died when I was a child, and I was raised by a German family." But you're a Turk. I mean, I have a German passport, if that makes you feel any better." His tongue darts out nervously to moisten his lips. Then it disappears and modulates a voice that brings to mind innocent little kids skipping down a lane. "Mind showing it to me?" I hand him the little green book. He turns the pages. He subjects it to sub-molecular scrutiny. "Not that we have any trouble renting to people of Turkish origin, and since you even are a German citizen, nevertheless we do have to know with whom we are dealing." He closes the little book and hands it back to me. "I would have thought you came from one of the Arab countries. Your profile, your manner, you're not a typical Turk." "What's he like, your typical Turk?" "Shorter, I'd say, more Asiatic, more inscrutable. Somehow, well, just different." "Is he going to rent me an office or isn't he?" I clear my throat and ask. He's evasive, makes small talk, finally writes my telephone number on a scrap of paper that looks predestined for the wastebasket. I take my leave. A week later, his secretary expresses his regret. I wiped cigarette butts and dead insects off the windowsill, leaned against it, my back to the window, crossed my arms and contemplated the office. "A little clean-up, some new carpeting, and a new calendar," I told myself. That could improve the quality of this workplace tremendously. When I lifted the cushion off the phone, Mr. Kunze had hung up. A moment later, the doorbell rang. I hit the buzzer. The door opened and in rolled a colourful sphere. Tasselled loafers, brown, white pants, red belt, blue and white striped shirt, green tie with little dots, blue coat, big belly, short legs. Exuding joie de vivre from top to toe, he came to a halt just inside the door and scanned the office, looking perplexed. He just stood there and stared. And the longer he stood there, the less he seemed to know why he had come. Finally, I said, "What can I do for you?" Cautiously, as if worried his shoes might get mouldy, he crossed the room, stopped in front of my desk and ran his fingers through his hair. Then he adjusted his pink-framed eyeglasses and whimpered, "My name is Weidenbush. I would like to hire you." He really whimpered. Either his stomach exerted pressure on his vocal cords from below, or his collar was too tight. In any case, he whimpered like a puppy. My overall impression of him was that of your average schmuck from Frankfurt's West End. A guy who sips his red wine like a connoisseur even though he can't tell beer from Sprite, likes his underwear ironed, and thinks that pink eyeglass frames and colourful wristwatches are signs of an individualistic sense of style. All he would have needed to complete the picture was a carefully cultivated 4-day stubble. "To do what?" "Well," he cleared his throat, glanced around.